Okay, creative process, Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins said, I only know this, but I've never read anything about Mel Robbins. I've just seen a video for 10, 30 seconds or something. But anyway, hats off to Mel Robbins here because it feels like somebody walked out of the gym this morning and was saying that, oh, by the way, 3 things if you want to live a long life, according to Mel Robbins, is that exercise. And so we're at the gym and having a grand old time. Well, actually, it was hard freaking work. So exercise, drop the phone, and then relationships. And I thought, oh my God, thank you, Mel Robbins. That feels like a definite invitation to, yeah, a long life, but also creativity, isn't it? Isn't it also that if you want to be good at something, you have to practice. You're not going to just pick up, buy a piano and start to instantly be able to, you have to exercise that. You have to get into it. You have to get a teacher. You have to get up in the morning and do your do me re me ma fa sa so la di da, whatever that is. You can tell I'm such a musician. And then on top of that, you've got to move those muscles. You've got to, if you're a singer, you have to practice. You can't just all of a sudden spontaneously be able to get those high notes when it's called on at an audition. If you're an actor, for a singing part and just expect that it's instantly going to be there. You have to be in shape. You have to be in ready shape. So yeah, exercise, fantastic stuff. We got to practice our craft. We got to get into it. And then the second thing she said was drop the phone. Yeah, like, oh, sorry, just drop the phone there. Yeah, like put the phone down. It's only going to get you so far down the rabbit hole. You've got to have a different kind of relationship with the phone. You've got to upgrade it. Everybody does, myself included. It wasn't until I started putting it away and then really using it. Like you need the phone in this day and age. You need the screens. We need the technology. We need AI, and we need nature and doing nothing and allowing ourselves just to trust our own instinct, our own beautiful generativity, that freedom that's inside of us, that beauty that is just, it's just there's warehousefuls of it, of this cargo of beauty inside of us waiting to be delivered. But if we're not exercising on and we're not, putting the phone down, it's going to be hard to get at that. We're just going to then otherwise come up with some mimicked version of what is our true natural creative uh, output and love that we have for the world, uh, love and beauty and all that joy. So that was the first thing was, yeah, as she said, exercise, couldn't agree more. Such a fantastic thing. I'm a huge fan, been dedicated to exercise. My daughter and I actually at the gym were talking about it. Supposed to be lifting weights, but we were chatting in between lifting weights, let's say, about the fact that we, we, our family are that family that wants to be active and be running, whether it be swimming, whether it be hockey, whether it be yoga, whether it be the gym, whether it be bike riding, it doesn't matter. We're just interested in moving the body, partly because there was a lot of trauma there too, but also because we just like to be in shape. And I love that. So longevity for sure. Drop the phone, longevity for sure. Makes sense for me. I don't know what she's saying about it, but this is my riff on it. Yo, hope you're not offended, Mel. I hope this works. And then the last thing is she talked about relationships, apparently, is the now I have to say yes to all three of those things. I don't know which one is all important. I started thinking, well, maybe relationships are more important. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it should be relationships and then drop the phone and then exercise. But it doesn't matter. Do all three. All three are important. And all three are the ones that can actually really deliver the goodies. And, it's the right kind of relationship with ourselves. If you want to have healthy relationships on the outside, you want to live a long time, you want to be creative, it's the same thing in my mind. Creative people can live a long time. I remember bumping into Bill Reid. He was 80 something. He had all sorts of, he didn't start doing creative stuff until he was in his 50s. Now, I may have this a little bit off, but it's something like this. He was radio host. Bill Reid, one of the greatest sculptors, Haida sculptures anyway, that came out of Haida, but also one of the greatest Canadian sculptors, Canadian First Nations sculptor, First Nation / Canadian sculptures. You've seen his beautiful bronze canoes at Canadian Embassy in Washington or at the Vancouver airport, by the way, one of the greatest, most beautiful airports around, apparently. But he's written, he you can't say enough about Bill Reid's creativity. He didn't start until he was 55. He quit as a radio host and went back up to Haida and bumped into his dad, who was I think the Edenshaw family. Again, could be wrong. The Reid family, let's call it his lineage. He wanted, maybe he talked with the Edenshaw family or some of the great sculptors up there, some of the great creative artists up there who were working with argillite and, of course, cedar totem poles, but also silver earrings, silver bracelet. If you haven't seen Robert Davidson stuff, if you haven't seen any Bill Reid stuff, blow your mind in terms of beauty. Anyway, there's me getting introduced to the community for a business venture that I was trying years ago. And I got invited to go to the carving, go to the Longhouse and do some carving with Bill Reid at a party the night before. But I couldn't believe just hanging around this guy. He had Alzheimer's and all sorts of other diseases and challenges going on in his system. But anything, he just could not wait to like, if he found paper clips, he would start doing something creative. If he found paper towel, he'd unroll it and start folding things into animals and birds and eagles and bears and rascally people from Haida Gwaii. He would start doing. He couldn't help himself. It was like being around a fire hose of creativity. It was such an inspiration for me, being around him. And then we went to the carving. He said, "Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, I'm too tired. You have to do this part." And I went, "I do? I don't even know how to hold this frickin' tool." But he showed me how to hold it, and then he showed me how to take some wax, and then I did some wax. They were pretty rough. I don't think I wrecked everything. It was a beautiful totem pole. I don't know where it is now. I mean, I just did a tiny little, honestly, what do you call that? A couple of hacks to remove some of what doesn't belong, some of the wood that didn't belong that he had carved out and done in pencil, where, the eagles or the ravens, I can't remember if he was Eagle Clan or Raven Clan up there, but a totem pole that had all these wee beasties on there. So creativity is like that. It's no different. So he lived until I think he late 80s, but he got an extra 25 years out of his life from just stepping into the creative channel. So that's longevity too. So shout out to Mel Robbins, shout out to those three things: exercise, drop the phone, and also relationships. All three are important. You can reverse the order or priorities, have them, or the way I like to think about, all three are important. And then you're going to have on your list, you add your list of things that are important too, right? Like it could be, when she's talking about relationships, probably family, probably talking about village, started talking about all our relations. So anyway, I'm dropping the phone. Ciao.